You don't have to believe the ideas, you don't have to accept the ideas, you don't have to welcome the ideas. You don't have to believe the ideas, you don't have to accept the ideas, you don't have to welcome the ideas. Did I say you don't need to believe the ideas, you don't have to accept the ideas, you don't have to welcome the ideas? Some of the ideas you're going to find hard to believe. Some of the ideas are going to be quite startling. You're not asked to judge the ideas at all, to analyze the ideas at all. You can have at it as much as you like, but that's not going to allow the Course in Miracles to work. If you use the ideas, you'll see that the ideas work. If you use the ideas, you'll see that the ideas work. The Course in Miracles uses Christian terminology to describe universal spiritual themes. So what that means simply is that it has its own definitions for the terms that it's using, and basically it's only talking about two things, love or fear. That we're either perceiving with love or we're perceiving with fear. And everything we call happiness, joy, sadness, sickness, attack is some form of love or some form of fear. The other basic truth that it's teaching is that we're responsible for how we see things. That we are giving everything we see all the meaning that it has for us. Anybody disagree with that idea? That you're the one that's determining how you see things. Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
Is that a stretch?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that however you respond to whatever I say today, you're not really responding to me, you're really responding to the meaning you've given to what I've said. You're really responding to your interpretation of what I've said based on your own past and your own personal experience. Does that make sense to everybody? So the truth is we don't have very open minds. Because if I'm deciding whether or not what you say is true based on my past learning, then I'm not actually listening to you with an open mind. I'm actually listening to you in terms of what I've already learned, and not in terms of what you've said. And the good thing, one of the coolest things about perception is that perception always validates whatever you believe. You know what I'm saying? That's why in the election, I always notice that, if you notice the presidential candidates in the game called politics, they go to certain states over and over again and ignore 90% of the other states. Why are they doing that? Well, that too, and because they're trying to appeal to the undecided voter. They're going to where they think the votes are still undecided. You know, Obama figures there's no point in going to Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? You know, so why? Because that's pretty much sold up which way they're going. Okay, so that means that what I'm trying to appeal to is the undecided. I'm trying to appeal to the people that come to the class that don't think they know everything. That believes that it's a possibility there's something they may not know. I know it's a long shot, but there's a possibility you might not know everything. I know it's a stretch, but it's a possibility. So the Course in Miracles says, and the reason why it's called a miracle is because the Course defines a miracle as a correct perception. And it's basically saying if we have a correct perception, it's a miracle. So that's why it's called a Course in Miracles. If we have a correct perception, it's a freaking miracle. If we see each other with love, it's a freaking miracle. So that's why it's called, not because we're going to walk the Red Sea. It's because if we love each other and treat each other right and really perceive each other with forgiveness, it's a freaking miracle. You know what I'm saying? I know people, I've heard of people who can do incredible inventions that have turned the world around and still haven't forgiven their father. So forgiveness is the real miracle. Okay, so I'm going to do the opening to the Course, the introduction to the Course, and I'm going to go into what we're going to share today. The introduction says, this is a Course in Miracles. It's a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will doesn't mean that you can establish the curriculum. Free will doesn't mean you can establish the curriculum. Free will means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. You can do as much of it as you want to, and you can choose how much of it you want to do. That's what free will means. It doesn't mean I can establish the curriculum. It means I can decide how much of the curriculum I want to do at any given time. I want to be a lawyer. They establish the curriculum. Where does my free will come in? Whether I go this semester, next semester, whether I take a light load, a heavy load, I can only choose how much of it I want to do. The curriculum is established. So the Course in Miracles says that which created us actually created that in agreement with us that would allow us to experience true happiness. And that true happiness and true peace comes from a definite set of laws and a definite set of ways of seeing things. That happiness comes from there's certain things you have to do if you're going to have peace. That's just bottom line. You know, you can't really establish the peace curriculum the course teaches. That the peace curriculum, the love curriculum, was established by that which created the love. So all you can do is jump on the bandwagon or choose not to. And what's so cool about love is that love is okay whether you choose not to do it or not. That's what I love about love. Love doesn't try to force itself on you. Love doesn't attack you. Love doesn't try to make you do anything. That's why to people who are used to being controlling, for instance, then they get most upset when they can't control, because they think love is a form of control over somebody else. Real love has nothing to do with control over anybody else. So the Course then says the Course doesn't aim at teaching the meaning of love, because the meaning of love is beyond what can be taught. Nobody can teach you the meaning of love, but the Course does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. The Course in Miracles is trying to remove the block to the awareness that you have, that you are love, and that love is all around you. Love is all around you, but the Course in Miracles says you don't see it because of the way you're perceiving things. So it wants to remove the blocks in our perception that keep us from seeing the love and truth that's already there. You know what I'm saying? If I put my hands over my eyes, I'm interfering with the laws of seeing, but it doesn't mean that I can't see.
Nice.
And it also doesn't mean that you're not there, just because I don't see you. But you know what happens? I don't know about you, but since I'm looking in this darkness, since I have my eyes closed, then I can make up things in the darkness that's not there. And then I could like imagine a King Kong right now. And then I could scare myself from seeing King Kong. And I could scream and shout from seeing King Kong. And it could look like King Kong's getting ready to grab me. But really I'm making it all up in my own mind and reacting to what's going on in my own mind. The truth is I'm sitting in a room that's totally safe with people around me. So what I really need to do, rather than try to figure out a way to kill King Kong, would be to have someone take my hand down from my eyes. Show me how to let go of the block to me seeing. Then that boils down to, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? Because if I want to be happy, then I can be helped. If I want to be right, then I might not ever be happy. If I have to be right. So do you want to be right about the thing you're unhappy about? Or would you like the correct perception that would allow any blocks to your happiness to be removed?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, please, which one? Okay. All right. Then the Course in Miracles says, love's presence is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear. 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 Interesting statement. It didn't say love contained fear. It didn't say fear was in love, that you can love somebody and be afraid of them. The Course says fear is the opposite of love, that when you're experiencing fear, you're not experiencing love. You're experiencing fear. You're not experiencing love. You're experiencing fear. But the Course also teaches that there are some forms of fear that we like, and we call that love. And it depends on us. A roller coaster ride for most people is a pleasant form of fear, right? You're going, right? So you're really afraid, but you're having a ball, right? And some people on the roller coaster are screaming and shouting to dear heaven, and in fear, crouched in the bottom of the seat. I only rode one once. And I paid for this. And then some people like are standing up. Whoa! They're smiling, right? They're having a great time. They're on the same ride. What's the difference between the two people on the ride? Perception. Their perception and their perception. Don't forget about that too. That's important. You got to have the correct perception. And so the truth is, they're both safe. They're both going to end up exactly where they started out. One person screams the whole ride because of their perception. One person is having a great time because of their perception. And so the enjoyment of the ride depends on the way you're seeing the ride. Is that right? Right. Can y'all relate it to your own life? We all came from God. We're going back to God. We all came from love. We're going back to love. You're on a roller coaster ride. You're in an amusement park. Everybody don't like every ride. Some people on the special relationship ride. You know, and then some people on the money ride. Is that right? You see what I'm saying? And the difference is the way you see in the ride. So the Course in Miracles is trying to change your ride, since you're going to end up back in love, or back with the Creator, or back with Source. The Course in Miracles is trying to change the ride from one that you're going, ah! to ah! while you're on it. Okay, and that just calls for a change in perception. And then the Course in Miracles defines a perception as an interpretation. So when you say you need to change your perception, do you know that you're actually saying I need to change my interpretation, interpretation, interpretation? Some people will look at me and say he's my enemy because of the color of his skin. Some people will look at me and say this is an opportunity to go beyond blocks that I learned around race in America. The only thing that's different is the way they interpreted it. And then they're going to respond to me according to their interpretation of me. That's why happiness is always possible no matter what you're going through. Because your unhappiness is not coming from the situation, it's coming from the story that you're attaching to the feeling that you're having. Your unhappiness is coming from the story, not from the situation. There's a way to look at everything. It got to the point with my brother before he made his transition that he was in such agony and pain that I was glad when he left this body to a certain degree. I couldn't love nobody and want to see them go through what my brother was going through. So when he passed, it was a relief. Somebody else, it would be a tragedy. First of all, I don't believe that he dropped anything but his body. I don't believe that my brother doesn't exist anymore just because somebody else might think he don't, because that's what they learned. Okay, that's cool. Everybody's learned their lessons. I've learned to believe that we are infinite beings having a human experience and that who we are is beyond these bodies that we think we are right now. This is Earth School. We playing the human game and we learning how to love again. You know, that's why they put all of us on the planet away from everything else in the universe. And that's why we don't ever see any signs of intelligent life. Because intelligent life ain't nowhere near us. That's why it's intelligent life. And like I said, the flying saucers not abducting people, they're dropping them off. I just want to make that perfectly clear to everybody. No sane higher intelligence abducts earthlings. When we see that our planet is overheating and we're doing all kind of stuff to our own environment, who would want us on their planet? I mean, really, I'm not trying to be nasty, but who would want us on their planet? So here we are together to work this out together. The inmates are truly running the asylum. That is true. And we are the ones who kind of like decided we're going to try to make our escape. So we all like huddle together, you know, we're going to try to get out of this crazy. And the only way out is seeing things differently. The only way out is to have a sane mind. So we get together so we can try to have a sane mind. Now we got to realize that we want to go to our sane mind. We got to cop to the fact that we totally batshit crazy. Yes, I said that. You weren't hearing things. I did. I said that. And once you admit that you're sick, it's kind of helpful in terms of you getting well. You know, the ones you admit you don't know what love is, it's kind of helpful in terms of moving you toward it. The ones you admit that you feel guilty, then you're willing to learn how to let that guilt go to the innocence. The ones you can admit that you're feeling afraid, then you can move to peace. But as long as you're pretending and in denial about how you're feeling, nobody can really help you. That's why I think many of the problems in the world don't get solved, because people don't want to admit the problem is there. You know, you talk to everybody and they'll all say, I have no prejudice, pretty much. You know, I have no whatever. You know, and it's like we can't get to it until you admit, yeah, there might be some programming that I got that I need to let go of. So I need to admit that I got some programming. I got the programming that I was a body and not a spirit. I got the programming that I was born in sin and guilt. I got the programming that people are doing things to me. I got the programming that I'm separate from you and you're not one with me. I got the programming that it looks like I can be a victim to situations. I got the programming that I'm temporary. I'm living this little life, this little temporary life, and then it's going to end one day. And then I'm going to be gone. And that's the end of my existence. So I better try to get all I can while I'm here, because whether I'm good or bad, I'm still going to end up in the grave anyway, so I just go for it. And there's a lot of people that feel that way, by the way. They feel like, what's the point anyway? I can do anything to anybody. I'm not going to be around very long. or whatever. So I'm willing to admit I do not know what love is. I'm not completely aware of my total innocence. I haven't learned how to take 100% responsibility for my perception and my experience yet. I want to be loving, I want to be forgiving, I want to recognize the truth, but I haven't mastered it yet, because ready to do something isn't the same as having mastered it. So because I say I'm ready to be more loving, don't let that make you think I won't cuss you out. I'm working on it. I don't do it as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? Instead of one finger a month in traffic, it's one finger a year. You know what I'm saying? And you need to give yourself peace for your, you know, and acknowledge yourself for your progress.
Yeah.
That you do better now than you used to do. Stop being so hard on yourself. The mere fact that you decided to show up here means that there's some part of you that wants to see it different, and you should acknowledge yourself for being that way and stop being so hard on yourself. Cut it out. Stop.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah. So today I'm gonna finish this paragraph, and it says, the opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. The whole Course in Miracles will be summed up in nothing real can be threatened. If it's real, it can't be threatened. If it's real, you can't lose a love that's real. You can't lose a love that's real. You can't lose a love that's real. It might change form. It might change form. The way you relate to each other might be different, but you don't lose the love. How many people have you thought you were in love with, and you told them over and over again that you loved them, and now you don't even remember their name? What you say? You like with a sword. It was like forever, forever. You passed by the tree in your backyard. Their name carved in the tree. You know, Earl and Salmonella. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. Forever. It's funny, okay. And it says nothing unreal exists. And if it's real, it can't be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And we're going to substitute the word love for God. So I'm going to do a modern language version of the Course, which is to substitute love and fear for the terminology in the Course, because the Course says it's only talking about love and fear. Okay? So I'm going to go through the first two paragraphs, and then we're going to get the juice out of it. I'm going to open it up into questions, and then I'm going to go to the next two. I want to move forward in the course. It's going to be very, on page 334. I'm going to be very book intensive this going into this fall, because I have some serious stuff that needs to get straightened out in me. Okay, here we go. It's called Setting the Goal, excuse me, on 365. Sorry about that. 365. Setting the Goal in the text, the Foundation for Inner Peace text. There's an extra copy up here, a loaner copy up here on the table. Okay, so the practical application, how many of y'all want love? Which means you really want love. That means without the attack, with the support. Okay, we clear about that?
Yeah.
That we're only talking about love or fear. So when we say Holy Spirit, what are we talking about? Love, we're talking about the voice for love, the voice for truth. Okay? And then if we say ego, we're talking about fear. We're talking about the part of us that thinks that we're afraid or separate. Okay, so I'm going to go through this. It says, the practical application of love's purpose is extremely simple, but it's unequivocal. In fact, in order to be simple, it must be unequivocal. In other words, like when you read a couple of sentences, in other words, the simple is merely what is easily understood, and for this, it's apparent that if it's going to be simple, it must be clear. So if something is going to be simple, it's going to be clear. So guidance that comes from your higher self is guidance that's going to be two things. What? Simple and clear. So you're not receiving guidance from your higher self that's complicated and confusing. So if you're confused about your guidance, it ain't your guidance. Your guidance is going to come from something that's intelligent enough to give it to you in a way that's simple to you and clear to you. That's what makes it higher intelligence. If I was higher intelligence, wouldn't I want the instructions that I give you to be simple and clear? I wouldn't make it so that you had to work your can off to understand what the guidance is that I'm giving you. So the Course says when the Holy Spirit, which is the voice for truth inside of you, gives you instruction, it's going to be simple, it's going to be clear, and it also says the setting of love's goal is general. But now love, or God, will work with you to make the goal specific, because application is specific. So if you say you want love and you say you want peace, then your higher self is going to work with you to make that goal specific. Like people go, I want to love everybody. Well, let's get specific. Okay? When you whitewash it like that, that's pretty much completely untrue. That I love everybody is really crap. We don't love everybody. We don't love everybody. You're not looking out for me as much as you're looking out for yourself. I don't think there's anybody in this room is as worried about me eating this evening as they're worried about themselves. Now, if you are, I'm glad. Let me see you, because I'm going to take you out dinner. But I really don't believe that's true. I don't believe you care about my kid as much as you care about your kid. And I don't believe you care about your car as much as you care about my car. So let's just own up that we don't love everybody equally yet. Agree?
Agreed. Yeah.
It's not bad if you say that's true. Agree?
Agreed.
All right, it doesn't make me bad, but just actually means we're being honest.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said they love me, I want to tell them, well, that's great, but I don't know how to love. So are you ready to deal with that? My love is going to be inconsistent. It's not going to always be peaceful with me because I'm learning how to love. I might not always say sweet things to you as much as I'd like to, because I don't know what love is and I haven't worked through all of my own personal blocks and programming yet. So I'm going to tell you I'm willing to work with you. Let's set this goal that we're going to have a peaceful, loving relationship with each other. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I know how to love you unconditionally yet. Okay? So I'm going to start out honest. Now, that doesn't tend to turn people on. They want you to lie. They want you to say, you're everything to me. You're going to always be everything to me. I'll never attack you. I'll never get mad. You can always depend on me. I'm going to be here for you no matter what. They want you to lie. Some people want you to lie. A conscious being knows that you don't mean that yet. So they're willing to work with you. So when you do make a mistake, they can forgive you easier because you already told them you didn't know how to do it all the time. Which is different from you saying, I'll never attack you. You're everything to me, so I'll never be mad at you no matter what. And then you go off, and then they feel like you totally betrayed them. Because you promised you wouldn't. You made an unrealistic promise to begin with. Hello? Hello? Everybody out there?
Yeah.
Anybody out there?
Yes.
Okay, my classes are extraordinarily light.
Yeah.
Then the Course in Miracles says that your higher self is going to work with you to make the goal specific, because I love this. Application is specific. So if I'm gonna offer peace, then if I'm gonna apply it, then I need to specifically apply it. Which means when you come home late for dinner, later than you said you were, then I can tell you that I'm making myself feel upset about that. But I'm also going to not attack you. That's application becoming specific, because I said my goal was to have peace with you. So therefore, rather than saying I'm able to give peace to the world, why don't I start with peace with you? Make it specific. That's what friends are for. That's what mates are for. They are practice partners. They are an opportunity to evolve and get out of denial about what's really going on with you. I'm doing a Tuesday night class right now. It's called The Art of Intimacy, Creating Fulfilling Happy Relationships. And I'm really covering it, like what do you do to really experience true intimacy, not just with a lover, but with friends, with everybody in your life. And this week I'm going to go further there, but also cover sexuality and a lot about how that fits into the whole picture also. It was so intense last Tuesday night that when I finished, the class pretty much just sat there for 10 minutes after it was over because nobody could get up.
Yeah.
It was really strange. I had never experienced that in the class before. Okay, it's time to go. We finished.
So was that
So I literally said, okay, just get up and get ready. And then, right, because it was so simple and it was so powerful because it was clear and simple. See, when something is simple, you just have to admit you don't want to do it rather than pretend it's so complicated that if you understood it better, you would do it. And see, that's the game most of us play. Is that if I would do it, but it's just really complicated. But when someone makes it really, really simple, like for instance, If I'm going to have peace with you, then I'm going to take responsibility for what I'm feeling and not hold you responsible for my feelings, because I'm the one that's giving my feelings all the meaning that it has for me. So I'm really the one that's upsetting myself about what I think you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to stop being upset with you, all I have to do is start giving new meanings to what you're doing, and then I stop being upset. Well, everybody's capable of doing that. In the book, in all these truth books we study are just full of new meanings. Even if you're not into the Course in Miracles, there's a million books out there that could give you new meanings that would allow you to keep your peace. Got it? And then the Course in Miracles teaches that when you have peace of mind, you can hear your inner voice from God. You can hear your inner guidance. Your inner guidance is telling you all the time the right thing to do that would allow you to experience peace every minute. Like every problem we're worried about, we're getting the answer in that same minute that we're worried. But the Course says we're so busy listening to what we're telling ourselves, our mind talk, that we don't hear the voice of God. We don't hear the voice from Spirit talking to us because we're busy listening to our own script. So the purpose of the Course is to teach you how to have an interpretation of your thoughts that will give you peace enough to hear your guidance. Not my guidance, your guidance. Okay, but that's learned. He says just like you learn how to see things the way you look at things that make you miserable, you have to learn how to see things correctly. But it doesn't take as long to make the change, because when you're seeing correctly, the whole universe is supporting you. Everything that's real is supporting you. But to uphold a lie, you got to work real hard by yourself. Yeah. You have to even try to keep remembering what it is you're mad about. Because if enough time passes by, you forget what you're even mad about. Then you just get mad when you see them. And you don't even know what you're mad at them about. You just see them and I'm mad. You know, because time took away the thing you were mad about. So it's harder to stay miserable than it is to allow joy. Because to allow joy, you just get in the present, appreciate what's in your life right now. It's so full of satisfaction for you, you don't have time to think about what that person did last week. People who are always dwelling on the past hurts are people who aren't happy now. Nobody that's happy now is concerned about what happened in the 5th grade. It's only people who are not letting themselves be happy that are constantly dwelling on the past. Sorry. How can you not let go what's already gone? So this releasing the past thing is a cinch. How can I not let last Tuesday go? It's already gone. So I like gone, I'm from the South. It's already gone, right? So all that stuff you're trying to let go of is already gone. It's already gone. The person that smacked you upside the head when you was in the 5th grade, they already gone. The only reason why you're hurting is you're rerunning that picture in your mind over and over and over again. Well, how do I stop that? How do I stop that? Well, you do what I suggested earlier. You find a spiritual path, you believe in that spiritual path, whatever it is for you, and you do what it says. That's radical, isn't it? You find your spiritual path, the thing that inspires you, the thing that makes you want to change your mind, and you do it. Why won't I do it? Why won't I do it? Why won't I do it, Earl? Because you feel guilty. And you still think you deserve to suffer for something you think you've done. And so you're keeping the punishment going. Mm-hmm. That's why you won't do the thing that you know is simple that'll make things better, Earl. You still want to whoop Earl's butt about something you think Earl did. I can't whip you as good as you can. I'm not as committed as you. I'm not as committed as you are to punishing you for what you think you're not good enough for. I'm too busy punishing myself. Get in line. That's where everybody else is in here, by the way. I don't know how to break it to you, but most people ain't thinking about you. They're deep in their own self-absorption. You become like a momentary distraction. Boy, that's a really short skirt. But I'm pitiful when I'm going to get that boyfriend I've been wanting all my life. And I go back to my thing. Is that right? See, the truth is like, see what I'm saying? You see why people were sitting in the chair like that at the end of the night? Because the truth is clear and the truth is simple. And we're used to complexity because it's just a smoke screen that keeps us from changing. We love complex truth. I love it. So then he goes on to say, your higher self contains very specific guidelines that it provides in any situation, but remember, you don't yet realize their universal application. Therefore, it's essential at this point to use these specific guidelines in each situation separately until you can more safely look beyond each situation in an understanding far broader than you now possess. So I'm going to practice peace with her until I get to the point that I can practice peace with everybody because I have an understanding greater than I now possess, which is that the truth would work with everybody, not just her. That's the understanding I don't now possess, that I'm making myself feel the way that I feel with her, and I'm making myself feel the way I feel with her, and I'm making myself feel the way I am with him. And that, see, when you begin to wake up, you realize that if it's a truth that applies to every situation without exception. So if I'm the one that's generating the way I feel in one situation, I'm the one that's generating the way I feel in every situation. I'm determining how I feel. I saw Christopher Reeve be happier than people who had a fully functioning body all the time, to the day he made his transition. And I see people that work out, that get body that look like Atlas, still depressed. You know what I'm saying? So what's the difference between Christopher Reeve and the person with an incredible body who's unhappy? The way he chose to look at what he was going through. You see people like that, it is absolutely no excuse for us. I mean, none. Like people like that, they make you sick. You know, you want to hear somebody that's all injured going, "Ah, that's the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Oh, look at me, I'm pitiful. Oh, Lord, look at me." Then you can go, "I'm so glad I'm not them." You know, it's like the Course in Miracles said one of the most ridiculous things we do is think we are doing better because someone seems to be doing worse. Right. So I burned my hand, but because you burnt your whole leg, I'm supposed to go, "Well, at least I didn't burn my whole leg." You still feeling the burn on your hand, fool. It don't make the burn feel any less because somebody else got a bigger burn. But that's the way we think, don't we, sometimes? Yeah. You know, oh, at least I'm not him. And the Course says, that is really not a very loving thought. By the way, that's not the way you go for gratitude. That's not the way gratitude really works. So I can see why the Course is teaching us forgiveness because the first thing you realize when you practice the truth is you need to ask everybody to forgive you. It's like it flips. Like I thought I was studying forgiveness so I could forgive my mama, forgive my daddy, forgive my ex-wife, forgive. Then that boy, I studied the truth and I realized how big of a bastard I was. I'm like going, how did they put up with me so long? Amen. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah. When you begin to wake up, you go, well, you know, I wasn't really that loving, and I wasn't really that caring, and I wasn't really being as generous as I should. I didn't listen the way I should. I was projecting and blaming. I was having a split mind where I was really nice over here, but really cruel over here. You know, I realized it was my own guilt and my own insanity and my own fear that was playing just as big a role in what happened as the other person. I'm not saying that I'm guilty and they're innocent. I'm saying we were the same, that we were both contributing to whatever we experienced together, that we were both equally responsible for the kind of relationship that we were having. And I was as ignorant of the truth as this person was. So now I see there's nothing to forgive my father for because he was the way that he was. He was the way he was because of what he learned and what he experienced, and his unconscious guilt and his lack of love for himself made him feel like he had to sometimes attack my mother. See, at some point you get that all the people you're having grievances against are just like you. You just don't. You may not kill a person, but you've done some damage to mosquitoes. So there's a part of you that's all about the killing too. But you know, but that's a little killing. That ain't a big killing. But it meant something to that mosquito. You understand what I'm saying? We are not different from the people we condemn. We just might not do it in the exact same form they are doing it in. And so it makes us think we're different. You know, you attack about one thing, I attack about another thing, so I say I'm different from you. I attack, you attack, we're the same. So the first thing to getting back your power is to recognize you are not different. And the first step to forgiveness is recognizing you are not different from the person you're trying to forgive. You raising hell because they got home 30 minutes late from work. Have you ever been 30 minutes late in your life? If you say you haven't, we know that you're deep in denial. You follow what I'm saying? So give everybody a break for being like you. Because your condemnation of them is just a reflection of the fact that you've never forgiven yourself for doing that same thing. That's why you're attacking them. Because you haven't forgiven yourself for being 30 minutes late. That's why you attack. If you ever wonder why you attack because they are doing what you've done that you haven't forgiven yourself for. Wow. I feel jealous because of not what I think you're going to do to me, but what I have done myself in the past. I don't have faith in you, and I think you may cheat on me because of the way I think and have been in the past. I think you're not going to keep your word because I have not kept my word in the past. I think you're not going to be loving to me because I have not been loving in the past. So how do you get out of that dilemma? Well, let me tell you. Give what you want to receive starting now. 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 Treat people the way you want to be treated starting now. Think the way you want to be thought of right now. Because you attract the people to you that are a reflection of what you think about yourself. The people you attract to you are a reflection of what you think about yourself. The people you attract to you are a reflection of what you think about yourself. And what I'm discovering is I think much more highly of myself than I thought. Because the people that I'm around are fantastic. People that I didn't even think existed. People that I didn't even think were out there in my life. Saying things to me that I never thought I'd hear people say. Treat me in ways I never thought I'd ever see people treat me. And it was funny, they just magically changed when I did. Figure this out. My mama changed when I did. My partner changed. I just got to do with person I do clarity sessions, personal one-on-one counseling sessions, and I was working with the person. I get a lot of out-of-town people now that watch my videos on YouTube. It's really fascinating, and so we had a phone session, and everything was going wrong. And so I used the Course in Miracles, and people are open to it, my knowledge of astrology and numerology, if they're open to it. And I gave her some things to do that from the Course and things I realized from my own 30 years of doing this stuff. Heard from her a couple of days ago, and she was very inspirational to me because she did the most unbelievable thing. She did what I said. That never happens hardly. That people actually come to you to get your guidance and use it. So anyway, so I was completely stunned. And so she got the result because she did what it said. And so everything had changed. The job situation had changed. She said she felt like her partner is now a walk-in. That somehow or another something else inhabited their body, because they're so loving, so supportive, have gone through a complete switch. And all she did was apply the truth that I was sharing with her to herself. The biggest secret of them all. Your only responsibility is to apply this to you, not your mama, not to try to get them to do it, not to try to convince them to do it, not to try to get them to change their mind, not to try to do it. You don't do nothing with them at all. You leave them alone. You leave them alone. As a matter of fact, that's when you're going to get the healing you're looking for anyway. They want you to leave them alone. Right? And she watched and she saw when she changed her mind, her whole reality shifted. It is so difficult to teach that one principle as a teacher that's been doing this for years. There's no harder principle to teach than when you change your mind, everything around you will change. The Course says that what people are looking for is for you to tell them everything but them that needs to change. Do I need to change my job? Do I need to change my mate? Do I need to change my city? Do I need to change my house? Do I need to change my weight? Do I need to change my clothes? Do I need to change my hairstyle? Change your friggin' thinking. And you watch your whole experience transform right in front of your eyes. But how do I do that? You give some discipline that appeals to you attention and study. And you do what it says. That's the answer. I don't understand. What do you mean? You understand that. Do you love yourself enough to be ready to give a new meaning? But what meaning should I give? The book's full of them. You're innocent. It's a call for love. You're a spirit. You're not alone. You're not a victim. You deserve to be happy. You're a powerful being. You're not, it's like you got a million things you could say. Lots of them. And so what I want to do is support people who know they are trying to block themselves and they're willing to admit they're trying to block themselves, and they just need support. They need someone who's been working with it to work with them so they can go beyond that, who knows the stages that they're going to go through before they go through it, because they've already worked with people that's done that, because I know what your ego is going to try to do before you do. And I can tell you what it's going to do to you right before. And I told her that. I said, okay, you got this working. I know you're telling me this going, okay, now let me tell you what's going to happen next. So you won't be fooled when it shows up and blow all this progress you're making right now. Because I know this book taught me what your ego is going to try to do next. See, this book knows what you're going to do before you do it. That's why it's a part of us that doesn't want to read it. And then we project it on, it's Christian terminology. It's using male terms. Those are just excuses not to get the message. And I know that when I hear people saying that stuff. The Course of Miracles is just so hard to read. Okay, let me say that. Application is specific. That's hard to understand. You specifically apply it to the situation in front of you. And then it says what? In any situation in which you are uncertain, in any situation in which you are what? Uncertain, the first thing to consider very simply is, I passed it around, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be important because I'm going to be doing a lot of different topics and subjects, and I want to let you know what I'm doing ahead of time. Another thing is I'm going to be, hopefully I'll be having an opportunity through Spirit to be used in all kinds of places. I want you to know. Now, next Sunday, as a special treat, my cohort, my co-teacher that we've been working with for 25 years, Anna Gajawa, is going to be covering for me next Sunday. She's awesome. And you should check her out. She'll be here next Sunday. I'll be learning my lessons with my family. It's time for my PhD. It's time for me to see how much of any of this stuff that I say I mean. Because you gotta, when you're by yourself, you think you're a paragon of spiritual awareness. It's not until you hook up with other people that you find out what the real deal is. So I've been pretty much on my own, doing my thing on my own. So I feel very enlightened. I don't have no problem with nobody, because nobody around me. So now I'm going to go back and see how, so when I get ready to go home, the first thing that I tell myself is the Spirit tells me, Raj, you only have one purpose when you go home. What is it? What is it? To give and receive love. To give and receive love. To be a human representation of the love that they deserve to have. So your job is appreciation. And when something comes up that's about to make you mad, and you think you're about to attack yourself, I want you to separate that. I want you to substitute that thought with the thought of appreciation. I want you to think of something in that moment to be grateful for, because what you're really doing is you're going there so you can reclaim all the power that you've ever given away to anybody in your family outside of yourself that you thought was causing you to feel anything other than peace, as well as recognize all the love that they share with you also. So what you're really doing is getting ready to go home and reclaim some power. You're getting ready to reclaim your power. All the power you gave away to your childhood, all the power you gave away to how you thought your family treated you or what you think they're doing or not doing, you're getting a chance to take all that power back by going there, admitting you're the one that's making yourself feel that way, admitting that you're grateful that you have the power to create your reality to begin with, and then admit to yourself you're still the innocent child of God, the infinite being that you always were. So they're going to present you with an opportunity to become more powerful while you're there if you look at it correctly. And that's the way Spirit talks to me. And says a few more things, but I can't say it in here. But really, because the Holy Spirit talks to me really raw, you know, because it talks to me, which I like. See, one of my secret desires is that one thing that my classes can do is reach people who like to act and talk regular. Act and talk regular, you know, like the ones who do sometimes curse, or the ones who do sometimes, you know, who don't want to, you know, who just want to be like regular people, not try to act holy. You know, sometimes when you be on the spiritual path, you believe it's like, I'm holy now. And I want people to walk in and go, damn! I wanted to kill my kid this morning. Tell me some truth, quick! What is the meaning of giving that little SOB? Those are the people I can work with. Because true people don't want to admit that they have hateful thoughts, guilty thoughts, angry thoughts a lot of times. They want to pretend like they don't have anything but really cute, beautiful thoughts, but everything in the world is being done to them. So it's hard to help them. But the guy that walks in from next door that says, I really wanted to kill my dad last night because he was abusing my mother, I can work with. The person that comes in and goes, my ego was kind of messing up over there because I wasn't seeing what was going on the way I know that the Spirit said I should. What the hell are you talking about? What's going on? I wanted to kill my boss. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Be specific. Friends are specific. People who don't trust you aren't. They talk in abstract terms. Your friends don't. They tell you exactly what it is. When somebody's real abstract around me all the time, okay, I haven't reached the point that there's some trust going on yet. I'm going to work on that with them. Because when you just got through talking, I still don't know no more about you than I did before you started talking. I'm your friend. You can talk to me. You can count on me remembering for you what you've forgotten. Maybe you're feeling guilty and bad. I can remind you that that was an accident in the sense that that wasn't your intended purpose to have that happen, or that you're still a child of God regardless of what you think is going on. But I need to know what it is. That's intimacy. Intimacy is specifics. Non-intimacy is generalities, abstractions. It was, oh, my ego was acting up today. That's good. In what form did your ego take? Okay, I know it's your ego, but what form did it take? That's good. Be sure to say it's your ego. Great. What form did it take? You know what I'm saying? So you ask yourself in any situation, it says the very first thing to consider very simply is, what do I want to come of this? What is it for? What do I want to come of this? What is it for? What do I want to come of this situation? What is it for? What do I want to come of this relationship? What is it for? What do I want to come of this situation? What is it for? That's the first thing you should do when you're in any situation that you're not clear and you are confused and you are in doubt. The clarification of the goal belongs where? At the beginning. Because it's the goal that's going to determine the outcome. Your goal determines how it turns out. If I decide I want peace with you and that's my goal, then I know how it's going to turn out. It's going to turn out peacefully because that's the goal I set. If I set the goal of really communicating with you, like I've set the goal now that when I become afraid in a relationship, that I'm going to try to love more. Instead of contracting like I would do in the past to protect myself, I'm trying to do just the opposite. I'm going to open my heart more. Because I already know what contraction does. I've experienced what contraction does, but I haven't experienced what opening my heart means more. That doesn't mean allowing myself to be taken advantage of. It means remembering that my purpose is to love. Because nobody can take advantage of me anyway. See, that's another illusion. Nobody can take advantage of you. You can take advantage of yourself through somebody else. But if I really want to love you, if I'm really giving to you from my heart, then it's not really based on what you're giving back. And then at any point that I feel like I'm not receiving what I think I should, then I have the choice to stop. So either way it goes, you're not to blame for what I'm going through. If I feel like it's not happening the way I think it should, then I got the choice of pulling it back and not doing it anymore. But if I'm giving it to you based on what you're giving me first, well, then I'm not coming from love anyway. I'm just coming from get, and I'm coming from fear, and I'm coming from bargain. So I shouldn't be surprised when it don't work out. It's not any love in the relationship. It's just a bargain. You just as well just get a little contract and work out the agreements and sign it and go get a freaking lawyer. It's not love. It's bargains, the Course says. It makes people mad. Because many people, they don't know how to love nobody just for the sake of love. So they get scared the minute you say, take away your bargains and your script. Well, that just mean they're going to take advantage of me. No, they can't. You got a choice. You can say, you know what, I've talked to you about this over and over again, tried to discuss it. We've tried to come to an agreement about the best way to deal with it. You know what, you're totally innocent, but this doesn't work for me, and I might need to do something different now. You don't have to attack each other. You don't have to stick around and put yourself through those problems. Your family or your children make up probably about 1% of the people that you're around, really. Like people say, well, what about people like your kids and stuff like that? Well, they're lifelong chosen learning partners. They are dedicated to teaching you for as long as you live. So you got an unlimited practice partner called your child, your mama. Until somebody died, y'all gonna be learning with each other, you know what I'm saying? Which is cool, but most of your friends and your associates and things like that, those are your personal choices. You don't have to have a friendship with somebody that doesn't work for you, and you're not a cruel person because you choose out of it. I think you're more of a cruel person if you don't appreciate a person and you stay in a relationship with them. That's cruel to me. You know, if you really don't like me, leave me. Give me a vacuum so something can fill it that does care about me. I don't need you taking up that space if all you want to do is attack me. Why are you here? You're innocent and I'm innocent. We're both innocent in terms of our core identity, but we may not feel like we're innocent in terms of how we treat each other. But who is not sinful. That's not your core. Your core is love, and that's all you deserve is love. Period. That's it. So in that situation that you're in right now, that you were wondering about before you got here, and I'm gonna continue with this, I think, because really, it always sounds funny when I say I'm going to continue with something, because really, I would say roughly 70% of the people that come to my class every week are different. So it's always getting kind of funny when I go, well, I'm going to work on something to X, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, actually, you're probably not going to see most of these people again. So really, just make sure you make your point for the day. Don't tie nobody to no long-term commitment. You don't get disappointment, buddy. You know. So I free y'all from any requirement to ever come back again. Because I love you. And when you love somebody, that's what you do. You go, you're innocent whether you come, or you're innocent if you don't. You're free. And I want you to use that freedom. You're going to be in the perfect place for you next Sunday, and I'll be in the perfect place for me next Sunday. So therefore, I don't have to make you feel guilty because you're not coming to my birthday party. You see what I'm saying? Like when you're around conscious beings, one of the first things you notice is that the guilt quotient goes way down, because conscious beings do not want you to feel guilty about every freaking thing you're doing. Unconscious people do. Innocent people go, I invite you to my party, can you make it tonight? And you say, well, no, something's really happened. And they go, well, you know what? I know you're going to be in the perfect place that night doing what you need to do. And I'm going to have a great time. And if you can come by, that's fine. That's the way love talks to you. Fear talks to you. See, this is the third party I invited you to. And you are not showing up. You just don't care about me. I'm not really important to you at all. That might not be the one you want for your buddy. You know what I'm saying? You know, just want to put it out there. But if you're the person that does that, then you would have a tendency to feel guilty about what I just said. Like you know, you just did that this morning before you got here. Then you become, you know, you just went off this morning. Somebody goes and didn't act out your script. If it's just your dog goes, you know. You got to learn how to laugh at your insanity, or you'll never go beyond it. You have to learn how to laugh at how crazy we can be in our fear sometimes, so you can go beyond it. We are innocent little crazy teachers. We got some crazy stuff we learned. We are really cool people that learn some really crazy stuff. And so some of us are going, this is too crazy. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to play this crazy game anymore. And then we're looked at as the weird ones to the ones who still want to play the crazy game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what you're weird. That's like, I get weird when people stop calling me weird, because that means I must be conforming. You know what I'm saying? When the regular Joe goes, you're just like me. I go, oh, Lord, have mercy. You know, because I don't want to project and blame. I don't want to make you wrong. I don't want to see you as my enemy. I want to know what this is for and what I want to come out of it. I want peace with you. I'm willing to assume responsibility that I'm, for my part, in the relationship or friendship that we have. I'm not going to start out by saying it's your fault, and if you would change, I would be happy. I'm going to start out by saying, I don't like the way I feel right now. I'm making myself feel this way right now. What can we do together to see if we can get beyond this block that's going on right now. Can we play a big larger than this? Can we take it to another level than what we're experiencing right now? A person will listen to you more openly like that than they will if you start out with you. I try to cut the word you down to a minimum in my communications with people if I can. That's one of your biggest enemies, that word you. You, blah, 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 and you, blah, 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 and if you, blah, 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 then they going, completely defended. In 10 minutes, if you couldn't get a word in, they wouldn't hear a word you said if your life depended on it. But if you start out saying, you know, I hope I'm wrong about what I'm feeling because I really want to be close to you and I want us to have peace, and if there's any way I can change my mind about what I thought I saw you do last night, then I'm ready for it. Please tell me what it is because I feel crappy, so I don't want to be right about it. That person will usually be open to talking to you about the situation that's intimacy. That's what I'm talking about on Tuesday nights. How to make it practical. How not to make it just airy-fairy stuff. But how do we make it real, you know? And that's what I'm doing, and that's what I want to do here. Because this right here, this section is going to answer all this stuff about how you judge between two situations, and how you make a decision in the situation, and how you get the cooperation from everything around you when you're trying to have your goal set. And then I take all of my classes and I put them on YouTube and on my website so that you can watch them over and over again. So all my classes are available online. That's important because in the world, you're not hearing this generally. So it has to be repeated, 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 until you believe it. And then when you believe it, you'll start seeing it. So the repetition is more important than analyzation. Repetition is more important than analyzation. Repetition is more important than analyzation. Analyzation is what you do when you don't want to do what you're being told. But what about, well, the truth is you haven't made up your mind that you really want to do this yet. So you're trying to come up with whether or not you should do it, and that's okay. That's innocent. Ask your question. That's fine. Ask your question. But even more than that, ask yourself, why am I asking this question? Am I asking this question because I sincerely want guidance on this? Am I asking this question because the truth is I don't want to forgive my daddy, and so therefore what you just said, I'm resisting it because I don't want to forgive him to begin with. So now I'm going to tell you all the justifications I have for not forgiving him. And how can you tell me to look beyond that? I'm not. If you're not ready yet, don't fight yourself. Start with the person that stole your parking space. Put the hardest person at the end of the line. Put the hardest situation at the end of the line. Don't start out with the person that molested you when you talk to, as you see it, when it comes to forgiveness. You start out with what you can do that feels okay to really want to do. You get success in that, you feel better, then you start tackling the bigger issues. The ego always says, go to the toughest man first. Go to the toughest situation first. Go to the person that hurt you the most and try to call them on the phone this evening and make up with them. Don't you fall for that. That's the last person you need to call today. You call the person that was the easiest for you to do it with right now. You go, oh, that felt pretty good. That felt good. I let that grievance go. Think I'll take it up a step. Oh, wow. And then what you find is what I found out. You will find yourself letting go of what you thought was inconceivable. You'll be shocked at yourself. You'll be like, the thing that I've been the most upset about all my life now doesn't mean anything. Because you worked with the stuff that you felt peace working with first, and you didn't go with the hardest situation or person first. And you juicy, and you innocent, yeah, and you deserve to have the goal of total happiness, and I would love it if you would be willing to acknowledge yourself for hearing a black man rant. Come on, let's go. You get it? I'm proud of you for your willingness to listen to someone who has the audacity to tell you you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to have prosperity, abundance, and joy in your life all the time. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to do the financial expression of appreciation now. I teach full-time, so I appreciate your generosity on whatever level feels good for you to give it on. It's not charity, it is just sharing out of appreciation, and I really appreciate that. I want to also invite you to come to the 11 o'clock service here. We got a cool church and an awesome minister, and you deserve to give yourself the treat of what Sheila has to offer you also. Those in internet land, thank you for the emails and the comments and the financial expressions of appreciation, everything you do. And love to do one-on-ones with the clarity sessions. Go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. It explains the sessions that I do, and we can do it here at the church if you're local, or phone session or something like that. What I'm telling you is you don't have an original problem. Your problem isn't original. Okay? So what I'm going to do now for 1 minute is hit the 2 questions that I would love for you to ask yourself today. Okay? All right? All right? All right?
Yes.
All right?
All right.
All right? All right? All right? I always want to do that. So as you go out here today, this is what I want you to ask yourself. What do I want to come of this? What do I want to come of? You know the situation. What do I want to come of this? Think about the situation. What do you want to come of this? You know the situation. What do you want to come of this? I'll give you a hint. There's not but 2 things that can come of any situation: love or fear, peace or conflict, happiness or sadness, fulfillment or no fulfillment, depression or joy. That's all love or fear. So get clear. Do you want love or fear? I gotta get clear. Do I want love or fear? You gotta get clear. Do you want love or fear? You gotta be clear. Do you want love or back behind my back? What you want? Do you want some love or do you want some fear? What do you want? What do you want? Do you know how to do it all the time? Do you know how to do it all the time? So will you be more gentle with yourself? Will you be willing to be more gentle with yourself? Are you willing to be more gentle with yourself? Do you think you deserve to have loving correction, or do you think you need punishment for your correction? What do you want? Love or fear? Do you want love? You want love? Would you those who feel like, say it to yourself. I deserve love. I deserve love. I deserve love. I deserve love. Somebody get embarrassingly loud till they feel really stupid and silly for doing it. Is there anybody that can say I deserve love? Let's go, Charles. I deserve love. 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 I deserve love because I'm juicy and sweet. I'm juicy and sweet. Let me tell you, I'm juicy and sweet. I'm juicy and sweet. Would you acknowledge yourself, Holy Spirit, for playing with me today? You see, I'm putting that energy out that I want to receive. You see the difference? See what I'm saying? I'm putting it out what I want to receive, regardless of what anybody else does. I'm putting it out so I can also recognize it in my life. And it's scary sometimes. And I feel weird doing that sometimes, especially sometimes when people are looking at you like, what the hell? This is weird. Yeah, a happy person that's choosing to see themselves as deserving love is weird. Think about that for a minute. I'm weird because I'm saying you deserve to be happy, love, and I deserve it. I'm weird because I'm saying I want you to have love. That makes me weird. Because I'm having enthusiasm, it makes me weird. That's not weird at all. That's loving. I'm not hiding from you. I'm being myself in front of you. I want you to do the same thing with me at whatever level feels right for you. And that's up to you, right? So hugs are available. I appreciate y'all. Tuesday night, there's an awesome class. It's $10 for the class, and from 7 to 8:30. And this Tuesday night is the last night of that class.
Oh, this Tuesday,
Yes, and you can drop in. It'll be something different I'm doing next. So it's drop in. You can come in and you can do it. And so if you haven't done it and you want to come, this Tuesday night is the completion of my Art of Intimacy class. Yes, this is Sheila. She's the minister and the one that's supporting us being right here, right now.